Morning.
Ehrmantraut, nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
You in fact were a sufferer. Is this what led you to all this?
Yeah. I can still remember very clearly the first migraine I ever had. It was years ago, and yet it stands out. So I didn't realize at the time it was a migraine.
I suppose you must suffer that in order to understand the pain.
Yes, I think so. And not only the pain, but you get to the point where you become so afraid that the pain is going to occur, that it interferes with your working life, your social relationships, everything.
We recently discussed headaches, and a doctor was telling us that it's necessary to determine the kind of headache that you're dealing with. Do you believe this to be true?
Not totally. It is with certain kinds of headaches, because obviously if it's an allergy headache, a food allergy, for example, you have to be aware of this. But most of the headaches that people suffer, which would include tension and migraine, which are the vast majority of headaches, really have a very common cause. All of them arise from the same muscle tension problem, and in my opinion can all be treated by the same mechanism.
Well, you have some exercises that we'll do,
Yes.
but you talk about posture.
Yes.
That is important?
That's an important factor.
Why?
Because of it increasing tension. Most of us work at jobs, you happen to be at a job where you sit up nice and straight, but most of us work at a typewriter or a desk or something where you're tending to lean over all the time. When you do that, the head, which is a heavy part of the body, is being supported by the neck muscles. And the more you lean it forward, the more it's stressed. And you sit, you also tend to stay in the same position. You don't move around that much. So
all right, your idea is a drugless way. You're not totally against aspirin, but...
No, I think if someone wants to take an aspirin or Tylenol or something on an occasion, that's fine, you know, if they need it at the point. The hazard are the literally millions of people who pop these pills every day, and they have long-term effects, and so people should try and get away from those.
Of course, you know, you have to have an awful lot of sympathy because it's very hard to function normally if you are suffering pain, so that's why they take aspirin.
Right.
But you're saying now that there are other ways.
I'm saying they can prevent the pain occurring in the beginning, but I'm also saying with acupressure and things of that sort, they can stop the pain when a headache starts.
All right, let's talk about these different ways. One is this brush massage.
Right, yes.
You want to show us what this is?
Okay, you can use a standard brush of various types. This happens to be a typical bath brush that has the handle sort that goes on the back, preferably with a natural bristle so it's not too hard, nylon bristle type sort of thing. And the important thing is the musculature of the face and scalp, because that's where the headaches arise. Headaches do not come from inside the skull, as many people think.
And they don't come from back here?
Oh, they do, but that's part of what you do. So the technique, let me take my glasses off for a second, is to do a massage which moves the tissue underneath this area, all the way down in front of the face. People who have headaches will recognize the areas, and particularly around in back of the neck back here, because this whole area back here is a key part.
What is this doing? Stimulating circulation?
It's stimulating circulation, right, and restoring natural tone. The important thing is to have tone, which is a nominal amount of tension in the muscles, but not too much tension and not so little that they're slack. And if this is done preferably twice a day, right, early morning and late at night, in a few weeks it does miraculous things in restoring natural tone to those tissues under
Could you
there.
probably also use an electronic gadget that has a brush attachment?
You can, yes.
Same thing.
You do the same type of thing.
All right, how about the face and scalp calisthenics?
These are basically anything that moves the same kind of muscles. We're talking about the frontalis muscle across here, the temporal muscles here, and the occipital muscles in the back. So for doing facial things, anything, for example, if you do eyebrow sorts of things, which simply raise the eyebrows like this, you can learn to do one at a time like that, or like that.
I'd have to practice that.
Well, you do have to practice a little bit. Or you can squeeze, make face like, or squeeze one side and then the other side.
Look mean, you mean?
And, yeah.
Okay.
And as we were talking before, you may get rid of the headaches, but people will think you're a little strange.
A little crazy driving along the street. But
yeah,
this is something you're saying we should do every day.
Oh, yeah. And for example, you can, with a little practice, easily learn to wiggle your ears, which is something that people learn to do. Yeah, I can get
look
some
at you are
movement,
wiggling your
see,
ears.
And that uses the muscles along the side here. And those are the muscles that are involved in headaches. So if you learn to move those, when you start tension beginning to come in that area and you can feel it, and you begin to wiggle, the fact that you're moving those muscles will stop the tension immediately.
So then the idea of popping a couple of aspirin and lying down if you have a headache might not be as good as actually moving.
Yeah, probably the worst thing you want to do is lie down, because you really want to move. Movement is a very important factor.
How about the neck and shoulder?
Same thing. So the exercises are things which simply involve those. So for example, you would shrug like this, or rotate.
Well, that actually feels good.
Feels good.
Yes.
Feels good. Or rotate backwards. You can do it either way. You can also do it with one or the other.